there's a saying that to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Or should I now add that to a radical feminist with a victim complex, everything looks like sexism. Now, the latest, the most stupid example of this alleged sexism, comes from a study that claims to have found it in 5 of the world's most famous museums of natural history. Dr. Natalie Cooper is a researcher at Britain's Natural History Museum, and she says these museums, including the Smithsonian, collect too many male species of animals. Now, she and her team can't have much to do because they've actually checked 2 million exhibits. And they say that 60% of the birds collected were male, compared to just 40% of the females. And that apparently is outrageous. And for mammals, all right, it's a bit better, but true equality is again elusive. 52% of the exhibits are male compared to 48% of female. Now, the Natural History Museum is going the full woke on this. It's saying this work reflects a growing awareness across all areas of science of underlying sex biases in data and their repercussions in the wider world. And The Guardian, well, of course it's saying, yes, this is sexism, all right. We all have this bias of seeing male as the neutral, the default, the baseline. Again, to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And to an ideologue with a theory, everything looks like proof. I mean, ask a global warming believer. The drought? That's global warming. Flood? Well, global warming, of course. The heat wave? Global warming. Well, what about this big dump of snow? Well, global warming, of course, as well. See what I mean? But back to the animals and these sexist museums. There is an extremely obvious reason for this imbalance, actually, male-female, in the specimens they collect, and it really has nothing to do with sexism. Unless maybe you think nature is sexist, God is sexist. Well, let's not get started on those metaphysical debates. Males are actually often more interesting to collectors, not because they're the norm and the baseline in the eyes of sexist male collectors, but because they've got fascinating extras that explain why their species survived. They've got the weapons, you see, and they've got the signals to predators or competitors to watch out. Male lions, for instance, have those big manes. Elephants have those dangerous tusks. Tusks, by the way, that also created trade in ivory. That's certainly worth studying, isn't it? But this research says that the biggest male-female difference in the collections are shown in the bird exhibits. And again, the reason for that, well, that's even more obvious. It's this: nature has wickedly decreed that the male bird is to be the most colourful, almost in all cases, and the most beautiful. And that's not a male judgment. The reason they're more beautiful, well, that's to be in the eye of females, female birds. The female birds that the males are trying to attract. Take the cardinals. Speaking as a collector, what would you rather collect? Or speaking as a visitor to a museum, which would you rather see, the red male or the drab female? Or the superb fairy wrens? Is it the blue male that catches your eye, or the sad-looking female? And then, of course, there's the peacock. Which of these two birds, the male and the female, is your eye most drawn to? I'm pretty sure it's the bloke with the tail feathers. And now let's ask, particularly with this racing season, the cup season upon us, which gender of human do you think is most likely to want those feathers of the male peacock? Wear them maybe in a hat at the races. I tell you, ask the male peacock, who is the greediest collector of his feathers, I'm pretty sure the peacock will say, it ain't the blokes,